Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Ask Me Anything with Virgo Exchange, one of the newest sponsors of all things blockchain. We are a community meetup based out of Brisbane, Australia, and we're very proud to be working with Virgo as one of our newest sponsors. So tonight, we're going to dive into the platform. We're going to be working with Viola Hui, who's the Australian Marketing Manager, and also her boss, Jay Wang, is on the call with us. And anybody who's on the call now, you're welcome to ask questions in the chat or jump in, just interrupt us. And if you're watching on YouTube, you might find a way to connect with us on our socials, all things blockchain, and also Virgo, very active on LinkedIn, Twitter, and all the usual platforms. We also have trivia. So for those of you who are on the call live, we do have three $50 gift cards available at the end of the call tonight. So pay attention, because there'll be some questions based on the content that we hear as we go through tonight. So I'm just going to try and go to the next screen. That's me. All things blockchain, where we pride ourselves on being chain agnostic, and we bring educational events to people all around the world, really, via Zoom. We're based in Brisbane. We have our monthly events currently at Bowen Hills, just on the north side of the city. And we have a raft of sponsors and other good people from industry who come along to speak to us, and we pride ourselves on putting on quality events. We're not here to shill coins or fill our bags. We're interested really in providing quality educational events and informational events with genuine participants in the decentralized technology industry. We work quite closely with DECA and other organizations involved in the space. None of this would be possible without a team. We have quite a team: social media manager, myself organizing events, Danielle Marie, our chairperson, who's known to many probably on the call and watching this back. And we work together to put on the events. And we also hold these regular AMAs. They're scattered throughout the year, often every 2 weeks in between events. None of this would be possible without our sponsors, of whom Virgo is the latest, as I mentioned. We had a great event with Tax on Chain, who are crypto accountants based here in Brisbane last week. And really, we pride ourselves on putting on events with all of our sponsors as we go through each year. So thanks to the sponsors. We also collaborate with various organizations around the world. Offchain.global is an interesting one. Offchain, they have branches really in a lot of major cities throughout the world, and they're organizing in-person meetups where you might talk about blockchain, but you're doing it in person. So hence the name Offchain rather than interacting on-chain. Women in Digital Economy, our good friend Danielle runs that. That's worth a shout out as well. They do great things. I'm a big believer in elevating and giving a voice to women in tech. So we love Women in Digital Economy. And AusCryptoCon coming up again. I think it's the 23rd and 24th of November this year. They're good friends of ours, not far away. My last slide is this one. You can find us on meetup.com. That's where you'll find all our upcoming events. So we've got an event coming up next month on the 4th of September with Kraken Exchange. They're going to look at also at security and staying safe from scams. And so we're going to have a bit of a chat about tonight. And yeah, we'll see you on meetup.com, but you'll also find us on all those various social channels. So with that, I'm going to hand over to Viola to start sharing.
Thanks, Matt. I'll just share my screen. Yep.
Looking
Thanks
good.
for the quick intro, Matt.
That's good.
So Virgo Cryptocurrency Exchange, for those of you who don't know, we originated in Canada in 2018. We have a really safe and easy platform to use, which is available both on Android and iOS as an app. Some of the perks of using our platform, just go through really quickly. It's pretty simple, intuitive design that you can check out the price movement, and then you can also check out the specific news that relates to the specific coins as well. If you're interested to stay updated, there's more information on the app that you can check out. It's free to deposit and withdraw, and it's instant. So that is really important. And we pride ourselves on our really strong banking relationship in Australia. And if you have any issues, we have a local support team who will take care of you as well. So in terms of customer support, just shoot us an email. You'll be taken care of. No problem. In terms of our pricing, is pretty competitive. Before we started promoting our retail platform, we were very focused on servicing OTC clients. We have a larger volume of trade. So around 2.5 years ago, when we started in Australia, a lot of those liquidity and stable relationship are still with us. So that ensure that on our retail platform, we're able to provide a more competitive spreads to our users as well. In terms of coin selections, there are about 80 coins available on our platform currently. So the more popular ones like Bitcoin, Ethereum, definitely there. But there are also some altcoins and meme coins as well. If you're interested to look at different options. We do have a very strong vetting community within our team. So we do due diligence on the coin offerings that we list. We don't just list any project that only just come out. So whatever that you are looking at on Virgo, the team have actually looked into the coins themselves, the background, and this fact check that they are staying strong and here to stay and not here to make quick bucks and then leave tomorrow. So to ensure that our users are also safe from the investment as well. So
No meme coins, Viola?
there are some meme coins, yes.
There are
had
the occasional meme coin.
Doge coins, yeah,
Yeah, of course, the big
do
goodies.
have the popular ones available. We know that the Australians also do love Dogecoins and the alike as well. So yes, we have added recently, I think, a few more that we've had, for example, onto the platform as well. If you're interested to sign up, it's pretty easy. To register, you only need to set up an email, register with an email and create a password. And then you can start checking out the dashboards and checking out the news, etc. But in order to deposit and start trading, you have to complete KYC, which require you to use an ID, local ID. We're Austrac regulated and registered. You can check our license, no problem. And our platform is really secure as well. Your asset is protected by Coinbase custody and Fireblock. As mentioned before, we are from Canada. So our Canada exchange is actually one of the top 3 currently over there. So with that support, we do have a global presence, not just in Australia, even though our brand is quite new here. The team has been going for a long time already. So we do wanted to give a broader, I guess, opening or context into our conversation, and you can ask a bit more questions regarding these things as well. So we just want to touch on the crypto market updates. So this chart shows the Bitcoin versus other investments like traditional stock markets as well. So the performance after the storm, which is post-COVID and post a lot of the ups and downs in the markets, Bitcoin is still one of good performing and strong performing assets as compared to other ones. So Max 7 is like top 7 technology stock. Gold is the actual gold. Bitcoin is a digital gold, but you can see that there's quite a big difference in terms of how they perform in terms of the return on investment. Nasdaq represent the US stock market and Nikkei represent the Japanese or Asia market. So we can see, even if you just like seeing it as a diversification, it's good to kind of consider getting some into the crypto market as well. The most recent topic of all would be the ETF. So ETF provide a safer way for the traditional market to get into cryptocurrency without needing to worry about the security of their assets or needing to set up an alternative storage solution for their own coins. Even though the purpose of it of being a peer-to-peer transaction is still the best way is to set up your own wallets. But if you're a traditional investor, we can see that the institutions are putting a lot of money. So inflow, meaning that the money is coming from traditional market into the Bitcoin market. And even if the market is fluctuating, it's still volatile. It doesn't affect the inflow and it's still continuously going up. Ethereum as another top asset also got their ETF approved. So there are a lot of news about the inflow and outflow, how it influenced the overall price, but we are seeing that the outflow of Ethereum is slowing down recently as well. So another snapshot would be zooming out a little bit throughout this year. This year is a good year for crypto, I would say, as compared to the last 2 that we've experienced, a little bit cold in the winter. this year we are seeing since this chart is since October 2023. So since last year, the price has pumped up quite a little bit, and we can see some repeated patterns of correction and then back up. And now after the Bitcoin halving, we are seeing something very similar charts happening again. So we can see from this chart, so 2012, 2016, 2020, and 2024 are all the Bitcoin halving year. So these are all the timing when Bitcoin halving happened. And after that is what people call the banana zone. This year in April, Bitcoin halving just happened, and the market is still, I guess, like circulating around the same area. It hasn't happened yet, but the boring zone, if we're seeing the historic chart, is ending soon. When in particular, we can't say, and we won't promise anything to anyone, but we can tell that the similar patterns happened again and again throughout history. That's what is really interesting about Bitcoin as an asset that is really long-standing. In terms of the adoption stages where we're at, just taking Bitcoin as an example. So the early adopters are in, and I believe we are the early majority, if not the early adopters. If someone was here like say 10 years ago, you are one of those like really, really early ones. But if you're here today, you're still early in the overall spectrum of time. And I would consider ourselves the early majority still. So it's still always people have the FOMO, fear of missing out, be like, or like, am I too late, or think about these things. But in terms of the overall broader timeline, we're still seeing opportunities ahead of us. So yeah. If you would like to stay updated and don't need to like scour the whole internet for news, we do send our newsletters every single week. So for example, we would pick up the weekly snapshots of the different candles of assets, for example, Bitcoin. And with the price movement, we would try to make correlation with the recent news, the time period of the those particular news that was shared. We will try to pinpoint back to a particular candle. So then you can tell like how certain news could influence the crypto market. We're not saying that it's definitely that has caused the price to move. However, we can see like the general trend and say, for example, August 8th, so just like around 2 weeks ago, we can see the US market and the Asia market do fell quite a bit, 10%, 5%. So the traditional investors or investor overall are fleeing the riskier assets, and those news were quite timely to when the Bitcoin market is coming down. So we make those sort of association and put them nicely in newsletter where you can reference back to. So just by registering your account with us, you will receive this every single week into your inbox if you would like more insights into what's happening. A few quick ways to buy cryptocurrency that's available on our platform. The most easiest would be the quick trade option, which is really beginner friendly. So just like pick the asset you want to buy and determine your own budget and then set it up, and then you are done. With more advanced traders, some of you may be, you can also do advanced trading, which is market and limits, or grid trading, which is like to automate your buy and sell at certain different price points. And another really simple set and easy set and forget option is recurring buy. So there's another strategy really often referred to dollar cost averaging. So just buy a little bit and then your entry point is average out through a longer time period. So you can also potentially have a similar scenario where Jay's refer clients like with the $20, we don't know what's the price will be in the later dates. So even with a small investment, it could grow into something bigger in the future. We don't know. So at the end is if you would like to sign up, the sign up code is in the chat box as well. So if you're successfully as a verified user on Virgo, you will get the $20 bonus through the ATB code. So the code for ATB is really simple, just ATB. So if you would like to do it in a later date, just remember to fill in the code so we know that you come from the community here. last but not least, I have two more slides about scams, because user protection is one of our highest priority as well. We are a centralized exchange, so we are the gateway that is the first point of contact where you would come through, use your Australian dollars to convert into cryptocurrency. So we are seeing quite a lot of people being scammed, which is really unfortunate. The technology itself has no issue with it. It's bringing advancement to the finance space. However, there are many bad actors in the space. The people are trying to fool other people that don't know what blockchain is overall. So the most common that we are seeing is investment scams. So most of them are promising return that are too good to be true. So we can see that the crypto market do bring a higher potential return. However, if the percentage is too good to be true, or with very small amount, they are saying promising you a certain set return, is not realistic overall, because the market is always volatile. It comes go up and it comes down. So if there are anything that whenever you feel very pressured to transfer, or if you have been scammed before and they're asking for further fund to unlock your own funds, those are all like really big red flags to look out for. Other two common ways that people are getting scammed are fake jobs. In a tough job market, people are just looking at ads and seeing that they don't need much qualification, and they pay a small amount for a training session. And then at the end, whatever they earned, they could not retrieve as well. And usually they would ask for the crypto to be sent to them to unlock whatever that they've earned, which is really suspicious as well. And other one would be to get access to your own accounts or set up accounts on your behalf. These are all really big red flags. Do not let third party make any accounts for you and gain access to your own accounts as well. Private keys, etc. Do not share with anyone. These are things that you have to keep to yourself. So we did write two different examples, but I'm not going to delve into it too deep. But essentially, a lot of them actually come through Facebook ads, which is a common platform that people are seeing these ads floating around. So if you're ever targeted by a cryptocurrency investment ads, however, it's promising you that, or like certain users are testimonial with certain percentage of return. These are really big red flags to look for. In terms of
Telegram bots too, Viola. Telegram
yeah,
bot is another one.
yes, that those ones are out there as well, getting users, which is really unfortunate. But yeah, um, so if you are scammed, or you believe that you have been scammed, definitely reach out to the local law enforcement at the first instant. They have a cybersecurity team that could potentially help you out into the investigation. And if you're a Virgo user and you found anyone suspicious, reach out to our support team, who will help you out as well. Um, the trivia, we can leave it till the end. That is pretty much the spill. We want to give context of what Virgo is and the latest crypto market, where we think we're at right now. So if you have any questions regarding that, feel free to drop it in the chat box or open your mic.
Yeah, I'll jump in. I mean, I've got a few thoughts there. Staying safe is one thing. What about, you mentioned onboarding there earlier on. You're seeing many problems with customers, who are being debanked, or, they're facing, very low deposit limits, deposit amounts they can move around.
Mhm. So on our platform itself, the deposit limit is quite high, to be
Yeah.
honest, as compared to our competitors. It's still instant through Pay ID and bank transfer.
Yep.
In terms of
Yep.
the banking and the banking system, recently we have been seeing some bank putting out official statement that they are no longer allowing users to deposit to cryptocurrency exchange. So luckily, a lot of Australians do bank with a few different banks. So the recommendation would be just to try another bank, because recently I actually personally had an experience with ING as well,
ING.
which is known that ING have an automatic account lock. So if you're sending money to cryptocurrency exchanges, unfortunately, they will need you to call up to validate that it's really you that are sending it. Going back to it, we think it points back to the scams that have been going on recently, which is really unfortunate. But I guess overall, as an industry, we're just doing the best that we could, putting a lot of measurement in place to protect users. Coming on to AMA is one of them as well. But yeah, there are many challenges ahead of us together. But I guess overall, the tech itself, the security side, I think is still something that for beginners, we really want to stress the importance of taking hold of your own accounts. Because unlike the traditional banking system where transaction can be disputed, the one thing that I repeatedly say to our newer users would be cryptocurrency transactions are irreversible. Once you send it out, unless the other party send it back, there's no way for us to get it back in a way. So I guess education is important, but the banking side, I think it's a collective effort from all of us, not just
Yeah,
the
and I mean the authorities are trying to do the right thing because it is a
yeah,
massive problem. But
yeah.
you know, the libertarian among us might feel that, you know, the crypto community is a little bit hard done by, but it's obviously a much bigger story than we can cover tonight. But it is a tricky
Yeah.
balancing act. Hey, there are a couple of good questions coming up. I don't know if we should comment on specific banks. Daryl asks if there's any issue with ANZ, but I was going to mention broadly the big four in my limited awareness are relatively strict on this now. Is that would you agree with that?
The big four.
As in the big four Australian major banks, like you
I
know,
did have a conversation with a particular user today that he was trying to send from Commonwealth Bank, that he was having some issues with the bank as well.
yes, they did spring to mind, but yes.
Yeah.
It might be down to your individual experience, Daryl, and also how they are assessing you as a customer too. But yeah, we probably there might be a number of factors at play there.
mhm.
Martin asks about fee structure, which was actually in my list. I think you touched on it briefly in your presentation, Viola.
Yep. So on the platform itself, we don't have additional trading fee. So it's just a trading spread. So on your buy page underneath, it's really transparent. So you can see like, say for a VIP level 1, for Bitcoin, for example, it's like 0.9%. So it's a spread. So for the transaction, there's no additional after that. So you can check it before you click buy. So whenever you do the transactions, yeah, you are able to check it. So as your volume go up, your VIP level go up, and you have a discount on the spread as well. So yeah, the more you trade, the more discount you get on the platform as well.
Uh, yeah,
Maybe I can chip in a little bit
yes.
with the fee structure.
Mm.
So first of all, before we actually entered Australia, Virgo has always been branding ourselves as one of the providers so-called ultra low fee into crypto. And also, when we set up our exchange, we always believe that the transparent pricing is something we should go about. So ever since day one, there is absolutely no other fees except the spread, except the price you see. So what does that mean is there is no deposit fee, no withdrawal fee, and for up to I think a few $1,000 worth of crypto transfers, we don't charge gas fee either. So we cope up with up to 10 Australian dollar worth of gas fees, for any crypto transfers as well, which I know some exchanges charge quite a bit, considering the gas fees actually pays to the network. So I guess that's something, the pricing, what you see is what you get. And when we enter the Australian market, we've done a fair bit of research. I believe our enterprise is already among one of the lowest among different exchanges. And in addition to that ultra low, less than 1% spread we charge, we do offer the so-called VIP tiers starting from the first dollar you trade. Then once you go up, the highest VIP tier we offer is 90% of that 0.9% spread, which become like a 0.09% spread of a Bitcoin Australian dollars. That also include the US dollar to Australian dollar exchange, the foreign exchange as well. And beside all the pricing, the nature of Virgo Exchange is because we are still a native crypto broker, but we connect you to multiple the largest liquidity pools around the world. So some of the pricing you see it get executed instantly. So you don't have to necessarily wait for another order coming from the opposite direction for it to be matched, as well as we connect you to a whole bunch of different liquidity providers. So the pricing could be literally better than going off with any single exchanges.
And Jay, a lot of that is to do with your background, your roots as an OTC, right? So that's where a lot of that becomes is in your DNA, is my sense.
Yeah, with the compliance, that's to hold the strong relationship with such big market players. Comes with long-term collaboration, no dirty funds flowing whatsoever. So that comes from the almost every single day. Comes back to the anti-scam, come back to the strong focus on compliance. In Canada, the exchanges all have to be regulated under the Security Commission. So that's some of the work we do. We are very familiar with how we being the traditional finance market being regulating or disciplining all the players in terms of what we can offer, what we can't.
So for anyone listening, there is their ability to put through high volume trades as well. We're never quite sure who's joining us in terms of we expect a high number of retail participants to be here, but you never know. There might be some anonymous, some pseudonymous OTC desk traders here. Who knows?
Yeah, absolutely. And come back to the banks a little bit. I spend like almost half part nearly half day of my time on a daily basis, I interacted with the banks. So no kidding. One is to secure our banking relationships so that we can accept our customers' fund. And second is whenever we send funds to our customers' bank, and that we want to making sure they have seamless experience with no issues. So that comes from both retail and OTC. We have gone through the period of seeing large right at the beginning, we thought about lowering our daily transaction limit to some of our other Australian pairs, like to in the vicinity of the thousands. But we thought that's actually sent a kind of signal that we almost feel guilty already. So we have maintained our $20,000 daily deposit limit despite number of rounds of scam coming to our exchanges without our knowledge, of course. We have seen some investment companies referring themselves as a Virgo's partner, which we never affiliate with any of these so-called trading or investment firms. But unfortunately, just because we naturally grow and they pick up the next exchange who offers the similar. Well, because we offer ultra pricing, we also instant deposit, that become like the natural target for these scam companies.
Yes.
But we have introduced a whole round of based on our experience, based on our algorithms. So we protect the customers in multiple rounds that whenever we detect that there's something doesn't smell right, we try to reach out to our customers, we engage our customers, we ramp our effort of communicating with the customers, trying to stop some customers falling into the wrong hands. So it's now we are very proud to say that we are actually saving more customers falling into the wrong hands before the customers actually fall in the disputes with their banks. We're seeing that trend has somehow overturned. But unfortunately, the whole industry is struggling dealing with that latest way of investment scams. That's why we have seen some of our banks have decided to separate us from previously all the exchanges somehow going to one big pool of the current banks who support us. We all fall into the same kind of account of BSB numbers. And very recently, I think starting from next week, we will be separated into different buckets. So now the game is really on. We will be able to tell which exchange is doing better. Whether when we say Virgo, we are proud of doing it. Well, now let's see whether we can still have that banker relationship.
everyone. I've done a fairly bad job as co-host. Jay is actually the managing director of Virgo Australia, so he speaks with some authority. Not that Viola doesn't, but he speaks with some authority. And is obviously, I love these sessions because we get to hear what people are really experiencing, on both sides of business, and with the third parties, with the banks. On a daily basis. So yeah, we thank you, Jay, for joining us tonight. Jay, while we've got you, there was one more question about crypto staking, from Martin, whether you offer that or that's on the roadmap.
At the moment, no. We're trying to make the exchange as clean as we can, because once it's got staking, it becomes like an investment product.
Well, I
And
know SwiftX, if we're allowed to mention others, did stop that, didn't they? They actually they stopped that about a year ago. Yeah.
I believe so. Yeah, I think I used to also use it.
for discretionary trust or family trust, it will go under entity onboarding process. Yes, we do support that.
Okay. Great questions. Oh, Martin's firing them off.
Card.
Do you offer a card linked with a crypto account?
Not currently.
Very good questions, Martin. You're on fire. I guess one of the narratives behind the crypto cards, not specifically in Australian market, is because of the off ramp. It's like whenever people exchange crypto with fiat, whenever they feel like, okay, spending on the card is just easier to convert. However, most of these charges are quite much higher fees. When I say much higher fees, a lot of consumers wouldn't really pay attention to 1 or 2% of the fees. But when it comes to our space, we're trying to lower the fees into, when we talk about the percentage, we're talking about 0.01%. So we found at least with our bank rails, we send the funds instantly. So we can send that to your debit cards, or you can exchange any of your cryptos with Australian dollars, and as well as sending that fiat to your debit card almost within a minute by just doing 2 pieces of work. So we felt like if anyone who can save a little bit by leveraging the existing or the already built bank channel, they can already do so. Australian bank rails is something we feel quite privileged of. So that's something.
Who Martin is. Sorry, Jay. I know Martin. He's one of our monthly regulars. He's very engaged. And as Martin would have heard me say, the other thing I'd add on that overall point is to be very careful in spending crypto in Australia for those sort of purposes is, in my layman's understanding, a capital gains tax event into the eyes of the ATO. So I think we need to be very careful about what we're doing with our crypto. Oh, and there's Margaret, Martin's partner, next to him. That's wonderful. They're regulars at our monthly events. So that's lovely to see them. Yes, is a CGT event is my informal advice. So just be wary of that, depending what you say. Stable coins, maybe is a slightly different story. There shouldn't be much variance, right, in the stable coins differentiation away from its peg. But I think, yeah, if you're spending Bitcoin that's appreciated 30% since you bought it, the ATO is going to want to know about that.
Especially you don't want them to be highlighted on your day-to-day transaction, which gets
yeah. So to me, that whole model of those cards, those type of cards, is a little bit questionable in the Australian setting. Maybe it may be different in other jurisdictions, but anyway, that's just an aside.
Absolutely.
Any others from the audience? Oh no, we do have. Oh, has he dropped off? Adrian is an incredible mind, PhD. He's dropped off, unfortunately, but he covers all sorts of regulatory and legal aspects. You probably know Adrian. But yeah, any other questions from the audience? I was wondering, with Martin and Margaret appearing, whether they were going to pop a verbal question, whether there was going to be a, here he is. He's coming out of the cabinet.
Well, I want to thank Jane, Viola, and
oh, thank you.
And I guess if there's more information on the website, so we'll have a look at that as well, just to get a feel for the size of the company and that sort of stuff. And I think,
yeah, I mean, Jay, one of the 3 biggest in Canada, right?
Yeah.
And Viola?
I can comment on the size. So the Virgo, we are global. We operate. We started in Canada, And Australia was our very first global expansion. And then ever since that, we also expanded to US. So, and US and Hong Kong. So as you can probably tell, we mainly operated in the Commonwealth countries plus US that share very similar regulatory scheme. I mean, in general, on crypto. So in terms of the team size, we're globally about headcount about 100, 120. Majority of them are engineers and software developers looking into our apps, trying to ensure the apps stay fantastic and have access to all the lowest pricing as we promised. And we do in Australia, we're a team of about 7, but we leverage a lot of expertise and our back office headquarter capabilities in Canada.
And to that earlier question of the discretionary trust, institutions can sign up. You're not retail only, correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And they have
The very first few exchanges support family trust. Back in 2 years ago, that was very new at that time, and now I think time has changed, and we have seen almost all exchanges have a dedicated landing page for family trusts customers. So, and of course, we do support that as well.
Wonderful. I think we've covered a lot of ground tonight. Any other questions?
Probably a comment when there might be a question coming out of it. It's interesting that you started in Canada, and we know some Canadians who are dealing with crypto, and they say it's incredibly restrictive over there.
Absolutely.
So I guess it would be pretty well placed to carry the learnings from Canada into the other markets, including Australia.
That's actually one of the reasons we feel like we could literally leverage some of the experience, some of the expertise we have built in Canada, and also the regulatory space, the crypto trends, and we see that the two markets kind of follow each other. Even when we talk to our banks, and they see that some of the scams we have seen, or some of the the negative aspects of the crypto happening in the US, in North America, kind of hit Australia almost the second year. So, of course, we're trying to play that, or we're trying to, and also when the Australian regulatory space start really uplifting the games for the digital currency exchanges like us, and I think that's when we feel like we will be in a really good space to compete, because we've already been there and done that.
I'm feeling terrible dominating question time here, but
no, not at all.
This is me.
So you mentioned, I think you both mentioned the relationships you have with Australian banks, and you might have gathered from some of my comments that I don't have a very good relationship with my banks, especially when it comes to crypto. So if I were to trade through you, and drop your name to the banks, would that be enough to get around the 10,000K a month limit, do you think? Or is that just bank policy and it doesn't matter what crypto exchange they're dealing with?
Maybe I can answer that. That is eventually a little bit more complicated than yes and no. We recently, first of all, I think the general answer would be no. Would we be one of the exchanges? So the banks, when they say, okay, they restrict to 10K per month to all the crypto exchanges, then that means to the general crypto industry, not necessarily to any of the exchanges. Not to say that one of the big names have actually got debanked altogether last year. So they wouldn't even be able to accept your Australian dollars whatsoever. But with all the remaining ones, for the ones who have strong bank relationship like us, we will be soon moving to a dedicated bucket. So like a Virgo would have a Virgo account, where other exchanges would have their own like separate bank channels. And then that's when I think if the banks start seeing a more and more scam victims reporting to the banks about, some of these suspicious transactions about one particular exchange, I think they will shut down that account altogether. Not to say that $10,000, they probably wouldn't allow you to send even $1. So that's where we hope some of the experience we had, some of the interactions we had, and by far we are very proud of our engagement with the bank. So whenever they send us recall requests, we typically respond them within 24 hours. That to explain the nature and to get the ball rolling. So that's something we already built into our processes, which I haven't seen others be able to compete yet. So I'm certainly hoping that some of the banks would certainly would be able to tell the difference. So if this particular exchange haven't really got any much trouble, they probably wouldn't really bother you too much when you send the funds.
Well, I'm talking to 2 banks tomorrow, so I'll be sure to drop your name and just I'll get their reaction.
We'll get Jay's cell phone.
All right, thank you very much. I'll let others have a
No, thanks,
question.
Martin and Margaret. It's wonderful for you joining us and your interesting, pertinent questions always. Daryl has a question. Any exchange outage issues so far? And if so, how would you mitigate such a thing?
Fortunately, most of the exchanges I'm aware of, coming from the post the Microsoft server era, I'm assuming you're referring to that massive Microsoft outage brought down the airport and banks. If not, if you're referring to another outage, then please feel free to correct me. But if you're referring to that particular outage, fortunately, our whole tech structure is not built on that kind of technology. So our exchange would remained operational throughout that whole period. Fortunately, touch wood. But I think in general, we rely on, our exchange is built on some like 99.999% reliability, cloud-based, AWS, Azure, this type of technology. So we haven't seen much the issues within our the infrastructure and the code. That's something we've gone through a very robust tech development process that we tested our codes in very thoroughly. So and also I'm one of the biggest tester. I constantly tap on our phone, making sure our pricing shows relevant and also we even find some tiny little bugs that get addressed quite straight away. The last bit, not least, the bank side, and that's something we are really reasonably proud of. I think our bank channel had more than 99.9% reliability as well for the entire last 2 years we had with relationship with them. So not any outage issues we are aware of, but certainly we are rehearsing and making sure we getting to react to any outages if that happen.
Is that the hint of a question from Rachel?
I saw that as well.
No, maybe it was an accidental.
Yes, it is.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Sorry, I missed the beginning. I was just at a sports class that ran quite late. But so you might have answered it, but I'm really interested to know. So I think you guys originated in Canada, if I'm correct. Yeah, and I was just curious, so what made you branch out to Australia? Do you see much similarities kind of between the two markets? And what's your experience been like on the regulatory kind of differences between the countries?
Very good questions. First of all, we see the general the market uptake. So in general, I think Canada has about 20% uptake in the crypto world. So we take 20. It's almost translated to nearly 20% of Canadians. They either have a crypto account or had owned some piece of crypto. And we see that trend is closely followed by Australians. And in terms of the regulatory space, that's a very interesting topic. And that's something that's actually one of the main reasons we expand to Australia. In Canada, in 2019, 2020, the Canada government start issuing the white papers to asking for the industry, what, how we're supposed to regulate the crypto exchanges. And then within a year or so, they landed on the decision that all the crypto exchanges will be regulated under the Security Commission, which they see the crypto having a very similar nature to security. So that's the general philosophy we quite agree with, so that Virgo went down and applied, gone through a very lengthy process to become a security dealer. So we are like not just as a general exchange to prove to the customers that their balance won't get their crypto asset won't get stolen, but also that there's a whole bunch of IT related, finance related, regulatory related side of the work we constantly have to comply with in order for the Security Commission to give us such license. But as an exchange, we were the fifth or the sixth exchanges got such license, and quite a few of them stopped operating and also consolidated. So we see now about 10 exchanges operating in Canada, just under the regulated exchange realm. And Coinbase is one of the latest. There's some other big names like, not to mention Binance and OKX, they just probably wouldn't really interest in that market anymore because that just become way too complicated for them. And like Crypto.com, so they are Kraken, they are still very eager to enter that market, but they're still in the lengthy process of getting that processed or getting ready. So 2 years ago, we see that Australia has not regulated the crypto exchanges to that level, but certainly we have seen that upcoming. So in short, what does that mean is what we achieved in Canada, we see that is upcoming in Australia in the next year or so. When that comes, and we will feel that we're in a very, very good space to compete because we're going to be the very first few.
That was a brilliant answer. Thank you. Really interesting.
Yes, Rachel, maybe you didn't catch Jay is the managing director of Virgo Australia, accompanying Viola, marketing manager for.
Oh,
Virgo
fantastic! Oh, I wish I wasn't in my sports clothes now.
No, we're hearing it from the
fancy
source. Oh no, Jay's pretty cool. Hey, any more questions? We might be, Viola, almost at a time for the Kahoot. What do you reckon?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Let me
Thank you, Jay.
quickly share the screen again. Just a simple quick reminder of what Kahoot is, if you haven't done it before. So I'll be showing a QR code. Scan the QR code with your phone. There will be, just use your name, first name as the reference. So if you win, we know it's you. There will be multiple questions. So 10 questions in total. There will be 4 answers to choose. The answers will be on the screen. And then you click the 4 different colors associated to the right answer. The fastest and the one that get most correct will win. And 3 winners at the end will be on the podium, and they will be getting $50 worth of Bitcoin gift card from us. So it'll be credited to you. So if at the end, if you're one of the winners, you have to send me your name and your email in order for me to send you the gift cards at the end. So let's go to the Kahoot page. So if you can scan this code right now to enter via your phone, I'll be able to see your name pop up on the screen. Okay, I can see Brian, I can see Anthony. There's someone else here probably. Martin, sit on. Yep. Does anyone else need more time? I'm just calculating how many are there. Okay, I can see Rachel's there. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think we have everyone. Okay. Ready, set, go. Okay. What is the origin of the company Virgo is known for?
This is where we do need some background music. We need something, something upbeat.
Where did we originated and what is it famous for? kind of a twister question. You have to know two things.
Yeah, my brain's hurting.
Nice. Good job. Good job, Anthony.
Spot the lateral thinkers.
Yeah. What are some most common characteristics associated with Virgo, the star sign? This is a side curve one. A fun fact is the founder of Virgo, Adam, is a Virgo.
Ah, is that where it comes
Upcoming is September, Virgo month. So do look out for a promotion as well.
from?
Nice. Daryl, coming up. Which of the following is a popular method of crypto wallet security?
Making them work for this. Got 10 of these.
We try to put beginner focus one and like some simple one and then some more advanced one. What is the most common crypto scam in Australia at the moment? There are fake jobs, phishing, investment, mining. Nice. Okay. Which of the following is not a common sign of a crypto scam? Yes. Oh, catching up. What does FOMO stand for?
Phew, finally, an easier one.
Nice. Oh, Daryl, high chances of winning. Which country is home to the Nikkei stock index? I briefly mentioned this. Oh, nice. Okay, I think we're almost at the end.
You reckon this is getting too hard to reel in?
In the Bitcoin cycle, which zone normally follow the boring zone? I also briefly mentioned this.
Yes.
Nice. What is the main difference between a proof of work and a proof of stake consensus mechanism?
Yeah, this is a hard one.
Jay's had a sneak peek at the quiz questions.
Nice.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Savvy audience. These are ATB and
Absolutely.
Virgo members.
making you earn it. What is the role of a fork in blockchain technology? I think this one's medium level question.
Mm.
Oh,
Wow.
nice.
Wow.
Good job.
Very good.
I've been impressed.
I'm super impressed, especially with the last two questions. That's
Nice. Good job, Nuan. Margaret.
Margaret. Oh, Margaret came out of nowhere. It's Daryl.
wow. Congrats, Daryl. Well done.
Oh,
Run up, Anthony and Martin. Good job, everyone.
I think we'll need to drug test Margaret.
I was wondering how wonderful that'll be to watch back on the YouTube video, you know, whether I should have hit stop. But that was a bit of fun. That's good.
It's
YouTube
fun.
viewers, I hope you enjoyed those questions, even though you couldn't
Yep. If
participate.
the winners can send me their name and email, DM me here, that would be awesome because I can then collect it
Okay.
and
You want to do that before we hop off? Yep.
yes, that would be great.
Excellent. Well, shall we wrap, Viola, for the purposes of
Yes.
the recording? I think that's been a really excellent night. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Viola. Thank you, everyone, for coming along and giving up your time on a Wednesday night. I think it's been a wonderful insight just into it's interesting to dive a bit deeper into more than, you know, something that might appear in the Play Store as an app that, you know, it's another exchange I'm going to try. It's interesting to learn a bit more about a business and what's behind it. And there's obviously quite a bit of meat and power behind what Virgo Exchange is doing. So we thank you for those insights. Viola or Jay, any closing comments?
Sorry.
I am just super thrilled to see, you know, see all the faces, and you know, hopefully we'll meet somewhere, you know, in one of the local meetups, or
Yes.
yeah, or in some of in a future crypto convention. But
Post-crypto
while in
one.
between, and if you got any questions about Virgo or even just about crypto industry in general, please feel free to connect us up on Virgo app. Send us a email, and we're more than happy to answer.
Excellent. Thanks, everyone. I'm just going to close the recording now. Thank
Wait.
you.
Okay. Yeah.